before we get going, I just wanted to add one thing. Thoughts and prayers are with Pedro Gomez's family, friends, loved ones. Pedro is someone that I have gotten the opportunity to get to know throughout my playing career, and I'll tell you what, he was someone that players from all around the league really look forward to seeing and speaking from time to time. Or speaking to from time to time. So I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that at the outset.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Again, if you use the raise your hand function in the Zoom app, and we'll get going. First question will come from Jordan McPherson with the Miami Herald. And please, if there's a direct person you'd like to ask to, I would ask you to go ahead and identify that for the question. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you, Jason. Hi, Derek. Hi, Bruce. Thanks so much for doing this. For either of you, Bruce mentioned fans returning to the ballpark. Are there any specifics you guys can share about the plan that you guys are trying to put in place for this season?
Bruce, you want me to take that?
Sure, go ahead, Derek.
Yeah, I think, for us, we look forward to having the opportunity to fans to come back in our ballpark. And obviously the number one priority is health and safety. And, I think we continue to get more and more information as we move forward, as we move closer and closer to the start of the season. So, there will be a limited number of fans that are allowed at the onset, but, we hope that those numbers increase throughout the years, but throughout the course of the season. But I will say the most important thing for us is to make sure that everyone is healthy and everyone is safe. That includes the players, the coaches, the front office, but the fans as well. So we're looking forward to the start of the season. Spring training gets going in a couple of days, but then also to the regular season starting on time on April 1st.
Next, we'll go to Christina with Marlins.com.
Yeah, hi, Bruce. Hi, Derek. You touched upon it briefly in the intro, but entering the off season, you guys, I'm sure, had a plan of how you wanted to approach improvements or additions. Sort of how much were you able to achieve, that goal or that vision as of, I guess, today?
Yeah, I think, and I know Kim is talking, going to speak in a couple of days here, but, our number one priority, I think, going into the offseason was to make sure that we added to our bullpen. That's the way we looked at it. That's the way we approached the offseason, and we were able to do that. We were, like Bruce mentioned, we did add a bat. But, at the same time, it's what I've told you guys for the 3 years that we've been here. We have a plan to build this organization. We're going to stick to that plan. And we also want to make sure that our young players get an opportunity to continue to develop. I've said this before, but I think one thing, going through this pandemic that a lot of people lose sight of is the fact that there was no minor league season. And we need our guys to continue to go out there and improve and play games and get at bats and pitch innings. And, we're looking forward to not only getting this season underway at the major league level, but also getting back, our guys to the minor league season so they can continue to develop.
Okay, Steve Wine with the AP.
Hello, Bruce and Derek. Thank you for doing this. Derek, just to be clear, you do anticipate some fans will be at the season opener?
Yes, sir. Yes.
And let me ask you, when we list the additions in this offseason to the Marlins, probably number one is your general manager. So I'm wondering what Kim has brought to the table so far in contributing to the decision-making process to help this franchise build on last year's progress, what that transition has been like.
I don't want to speak on her behalf in terms of what the transition has been like. I can only speak a little bit from experience. I'm sure it's been a whirlwind for her, getting to know the organization and the people and the personnel that are in place. She's only been here for a few months, but I think she's done a great job getting to know our front office now. And it's almost like an orientation for her, because you can read about and hear about members of the organization all you want, but you have to experience it firsthand. So I know for her, she's looking forward to getting to spring training so she can see some of the players that we've all been talking about for the last few months since she's been on board.
Next, we'll go to Donovan Campbell with WSBN.
What's going on, Derek? What's going on, Bruce? Hope you guys having a great day. This is for Derek. What are you looking forward to the most this upcoming season? And how much did the pandemic hinder you guys from pulling the trigger on making any sort of decisions going into the season?
The thing I'm looking most forward to is for us to continue to show progress. I think that's the key when anytime you're building an organization like we've been doing over the last 3 years, is to continue to show progress. We need our players need to get better. But I think, getting back to some sense of normalcy, I don't even know what that means, right? I mean, I don't know what it means. I don't know how long it's going to take, but just getting back on the field, I know it was a challenge for, the entire industry in 2020, and it's going to be a challenge for us moving forward through 2021, but hopefully over time we get back to some sense of normalcy. And then I think the second part was can you clarify it again, something about our decisions?
Yeah, how did the pandemic maybe hinder any decision making that you guys had planned going into the season? I know you guys bolstered the bullpen and got the bat and Duval, but was there any kind of decision making due to the pandemic that you guys may have halted on?
No, I can say that no, it didn't, because I think even when the last time I spoke to you, I don't exactly remember when it was, but I did say that we have to make sure that we give our young guys an opportunity, and we don't want to block them, and we need them to continue to develop. So I know we got a taste of the postseason last year, and our goal every year is to get back to the postseason. But at the same time, we have to look at the big picture and make sure that the young guys get an opportunity to play, and they get an opportunity to compete for jobs. And we have a lot of guys that are close, so they're knocking on the door, but they got to continue to develop.
Okay, let's go to Will Manso, WPLG.
Hey, Derek, has the timeline at all, or how has it changed as far as, last season you contended, I think to many that may have been a big surprise making the playoffs. Does that at all change your expectations given moving forward, like you said, the process and what you're trying to do with this club?
No, it doesn't change anything. I said it from when we first got here that, as a team and as a professional player, every single time you take the field, you have an opportunity to win. I know a lot of people looked at me like I was crazy when I said it, but the thing that I've enjoyed watching and seeing is the confidence level of the players in our organization, not just in Miami, but throughout our system. When they take the field, they expect to compete and they expect to win. And I think our players last year got a little bit of taste of it, and you could tell that their confidence level started to rise. They started to believe that they can compete with anyone, and made a little progress, got to the postseason. I think we're happy with the progress that we made, but we're not happy with how the season finished. So I think we just, got to continue with that mindset, and it's become contagious, and it's become infectious throughout the entire organization.
Jess Blaylock.
Thank you, Jason. Hey, Bruce. Hey, Derek. I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for doing this. My question is for Derek. Derek, you've always made it clear that a couple of your goals are sustainable success and the long-term health of the organization. Considering what the team was able to do last year and the way you guys have built the farm system, how close do you feel you are to achieving those goals?
Jess, you're trying to put me on a time frame, huh? Trying to put the clock on it. Look, I probably sound like a broken record to you guys. But I don't think you can ever be satisfied with where you are. I mean, if even when you come off of winning a World Series, you still feel as though you can get better. I think, what you like to see is progress every single year. And that's progress on the baseball operations side, is progress on the business operations side. I think one thing that was a little bit disappointing last year, obviously going through the pandemic, is you hear about the excitement from our fan base, but they weren't able to come to games. I would have loved to see what that would look like. So I know when we start the season in April, it'll be a limited capacity, and we hope that the numbers increase over the course of the year. But there is a level of excitement, and we need to continue to build on that, not only on the baseball side, but the business side as well.
Barry Jackson, Miami Herald.
That's a good way of not giving you any kind of time frame, Jessica.
Hello, Bruce. I had a couple of things for you. I'll ask them for you one at a time. As you know, there were reports 3 years ago that Michael Dell contributed 175 million in preferred stock. And I guess that was from his company, MSD Partners, and that the money had to be repaid in its entirety within 3 years, or Michael Dell gets part equity in the franchise. Bruce, has that deadline passed? And if so, did you repay Michael Dell, or does he now own 1% of the franchise, and how much does he own?
The Dell organization is an investor just like our entire ownership group, nowhere near the levels that you're talking at, by the way. I mean, I'm not sure I really understand the question, because there are no issues with paying him. It's a very strong ownership group, starting at the top, right through every owner. There's no really significance to your question as it relates to the Miami Marlins.
Sure. Yeah, there were reports in Fox Business, Daily Sports Business Journal, New York Post, and our newspaper that there was a 3-year deadline by which Dell and his company must be repaid the 175 million. That's not accurate. There's no deadline to repay him the value of preferred stock.
There's no deadline. He's an investor now, and he's receiving whatever he's supposed to receive, that organization, et cetera. But it's a much smaller element of the total capital structure than you mentioned.
Great. And one last question. Do you ever, over the course of your first couple of years as an owner, say to yourself, why do I need this aggravation in terms of losing money? Because the volume of money lost, according to past ownership, was enormous. Have your losses been enormous, especially without fans? And do you ever wonder, why do I need this aggravation? Should I sell the team? Does that thought ever come to mind?
Not for a moment. The industry, as you know, all know, lost $3 billion last year. We shared in those losses like everybody else. This year is going to be challenging through the pandemic. I love baseball. I love the organization we're trying to build. I love winning, and I think we're on the right path here. And we have to continue on the path. So the economics, obviously with the pandemic, have been disappointed, but we're very excited about the future, both operationally and financially.
Thank you, Bruce.
Very welcome.
Dave,
leaking some personal questions in there, Barry.
I it was interesting. I wasn't expecting that one.
Yeah, it's odd because I was discussing the same thing about Dell with Daniel Kaplan, Sports Business Journal at an NFL owners meetings last year, and we were both sure there was an October deadline last year for the Dell money to be repaid, but I guess you say no. So I thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Okay. David Hyde, I think I actually accidentally lowered your hand. So go ahead, Sun Sentinel.
Okay, my hand's back up. Derek, I'm curious, when you talk about the grand plan, is it where you expected in year 3? What's the pluses you see and the negatives as you see right now?
Yeah, you know, it's a good question, Dave, but I'll be honest with you, I didn't put a time frame on it. It's like I said when we first got here, I think when you put a time frame on something, you're giving yourself an excuse to fail, right? So we never put a time frame on it. We knew, we had a lot of work to do in order to help turn this organization around and to build the organization, but there was never a time frame put on it.
Okay.
Craig Mish.
Thank you, Jason. This question is for Bruce, and hi, Derek. Hope you're well as well. Bruce, I was wondering, from your perspective, now heading into a third year of ownership, how it compares to some of the other businesses that you've run in running a Major League Baseball team, as it compares to some of your other previous businesses that you've run. Thank you.
Not to correct, I think we're running into our fourth year, I guess.
Yeah, fourth
year, sorry.
It's okay. And it's baseball is different than all businesses because, we're 30 teams, so we're all joined at the hip in some ways. And you have a central baseball. It's very important to the Miami Marlins. And it's different in that sense. We're a private company versus investing in public companies. But the same principles of good discipline and trying to achieve your best is, I think, what's occurring here. And, the key element is to continue to just stick with the plan, try to create more fan interest, put a great product on the field, both in entertainment wise as well as baseball wise, and continue to grow. All businesses have been impacted by the pandemic. I can't think of an industry that's treated their employees in aggregate better than the baseball industry, which has done an extraordinary job with all their employees and all the constituencies, especially the community as well. So that's a different element of it than classic B school business, if you will.
Okay, Tom D'Angelo with the Palm Beach Post.
Thanks, Jason. Hi, guys. Thanks for doing this. Derek, a little bit off the path of this year, but in the last calendar year, baseball's lost, I think, 10 Hall of Famers. Just want to know your thoughts on that and what a great loss this is to the game. And I believe probably any personal relationships, I'm thinking of maybe Whitey Ford more than any other.
Yeah, you talk about, we're supposed to have the induction ceremony last summer, and you just think about all the players that have passed since then. It's your heart goes out to, a majority of those players I've had relationships with, that I've gotten an opportunity to get to know throughout the years. And that was the one thing that I was looking forward to is going to the induction ceremony and getting a chance to spend some time with them on an individual basis, because, throughout your career, you meet people for 5, 10, 15 minutes, have a short conversation with them. You keep in touch over the years, but actually going there and spending a few days and spending time with them, and now not having that opportunity, you don't want to say it takes away from a Hall of Fame induction ceremony, but in that sense, I wish we were able to do it last summer. And then you mentioned Whitey. I mean, one thing that the Yankee organization does a tremendous job with is bringing back the ex-players, and you having access to the ex-players, and even spending time with Whitey and Yogi together in spring training. I mean, these are stories. Seeing Yogi and Whitey on the training table when we're getting ready to play games. It's those are the memories that you think of, and those are the times that you miss, but you also get a chance to share it with others. So it's horrible. I get it. As time goes on, everyone loses people, but just from a selfish standpoint, it hit home, over the past year.
Thank you.
Brian from ESPN West Palm Beach.
Hey, Derek, couple questions. One, what is your favorite part about spring training? And two, with the changes to spring training this year, how much do you guys have to lean on those other teams that are essentially part of your COVID bubble in the area?
And I probably shouldn't say this. I really shouldn't say it, but my favorite part of spring training was when it was over, because you wanted to get on to the regular season. But I think, you enjoyed it when you got there. You spend more time with your teammates than you actually do with your family. And it's good to get back on the field and get into it, because you can work out as much as you possibly want in the off season. It's still different once you actually get out there and start playing games. So it feels good to get there, but then you look forward to getting to, the regular season. And the second part was playing the same teams, I think you said.
Yeah, how much do you have to lean on those other teams where basically everyone has to stay safe so we can get through the spring?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Look, we all know how difficult it was, especially for us, getting through last season. And now you're not going through a 60-game schedule. Now you're going through spring training in 6 weeks and 162-game schedule. So there's going to be challenges. It's going to be difficult. But I think, the league and the Players Association came together and came with the health and safety protocols. And you just hope that there aren't any speed bumps like we had last year.
Okay, let's go to Andy Slater with 640 AM.
Derek, I know you mentioned a few times that there's going to be limited fans in attendance. There's a lot of people that may not want to be around a lot of people. So do you have an exact number on how many fans will be allowed, at least at the beginning?
Yeah, I think we're going to start, and don't quote me on it, but it'll be a little north of 20% capacity where we'll be able to start off. we're doing everything that we can in our power to make sure that fans are as comfortable as they can be coming. But we, at the same time, recognizing that there's going to be some fans that may be a little hesitant to come. And all we can do is our best to make sure that we can make them feel as comfortable as possible, which I know is difficult. Hopefully moving forward, as more and more people get vaccinated, they become a little bit more comfortable. But, we're doing everything in our power to make sure that they are as comfortable as they can be.
Have you
But
talked with
it is a challenge.
Have you talked with the Heat at all about maybe using the COVID sniffing dogs, or you're not into those?
Maybe I'll get one and put it outside of my front door. No, I mean, we haven't gone that far. We're in the process of getting well certified, which is important. It's just these touch points that hopefully give fans a little bit more comfort coming in. So we're gonna introduce our enhanced measures next week at some point. So you'll be hearing a little bit more about that. But no, we haven't gone down the dog path yet.
Okay, back to Christina with Marlins.com.
Yeah, somewhat surprised this hasn't been asked yet. What's the latest, I guess, on a possible TV deal?
I'll take a shot. We've made tremendous progress. The documents take a long time. We're excited about the fact that all our fans will see the Marlins on TV this year at the right time in the right place. I think evening games are starting, I think 6:40. And we're excited about the partnership we're going to have. I think there'll be maybe a renaming of the network. I think you've all read about that. But as far as the games, we're very pleased where we are. And I don't know if you want to add anything, Derek, about the arduous process both of us went through, but we think we're in a good spot.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. It's a long process. We'll hopefully come to conclusion here soon. I see Steve Tello's on the call right here. So, Steve, if you want to pick up the pace, we might be able to get something done a little bit sooner here.
Just real quick follow-up for that. Assuming, I guess, with that pace, would there be some games broadcast during spring training?
That's one I'll have to get back to you on. I don't know, Derek, you may have some insight I don't have on that.
Yeah, I don't know if the spring training TV schedule has been announced yet, Jay.
No, I think we're a little premature there. We obviously need to finalize what needs to be finalized. So, yeah, more info to come there.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, Christina, we literally just got the spring training schedule, so it's going to take a little bit of time.
Okay, Craig, Michigan.
Thank you, Jason. This question is for Derek. Derek, is there still sort of holding out hope for the designated hitter in the National League? I for most seem to believe that there won't be. Is there any hope that there still may be? I know it certainly potentially could help your club quite a bit.
Craig, I'll be honest with you, man. I hope so. Now, that's just me personally. I've come from the American League, so I like the DH. I've been told that there's going to be no DH. I can just go on what we've been told. So personally, I think I might have even told you this, Craig, a couple of years ago. I like the DH. I get tired of watching pitchers hit. But that's just coming from a former player. But yeah, we've been told that there is going to be no DH this year.
Jordan McPherson.
Yeah, hey, and this is for Derek. Derek, when you look at the rest of the NL East, saw what the Mets have done. You see the Braves reload. You see the Phillies and Nationals reload. I know you guys made moves as well, but do you feel like looking at what the NL East has become, do you feel like this season could become a real litmus test for how much progress you guys have made throughout this rebuild as you start getting the younger guys up and seeing what you guys have done?
Yeah, of course. We have a tough division. It's no secret. You look at, like you said, what teams have done in the offseason in terms of players that they've added. And then, look, Atlanta's been top of the division for the last few years. So look, we know how difficult our division is, but if you want to be the best, you're going to have to ultimately beat the best, right? And you have to enjoy that competition. So, our guys don't shy away from competition. They don't. And I think they showed that last year. I don't care if it was 60 games, 20 games, or 10 games. Our guys showed that they were willing to go out there to compete, and they'll continue to do that. But yeah, it's no secret how good our division is. But the bottom line is you have to play the games on the field. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, Jim Barry. Jim, you there?
How about now? You hear me now?
There we go. There we go.
Perfect. Sorry about that. I have a question for Derek, a question for Bruce. Derek, first for you. Derek, as you know, every true contending team has stars, guys who really set the table, set the tone for the team. Who are the stars in the Marlins everyday lineup?
Well, first of all, every team and every star wasn't always a star. They become a star when you go out there and you have a little bit of success. I mean, I can just go off of experience when our group was younger, we came up, no one knew who we were. And now after a couple of years and a little bit of success, you become household names. And I think that's the same case here in Miami. We haven't had a lot of players that have been here for a long time, right? We haven't, but you like to say that players become stars after having some success. So we've had some players that have had some success. Rojas has had some success. Brian Anderson has had some success. Marte's had some success, right? But you become a star when you go out on the field and you perform in those big games. And I think last year was a good first step for us getting to the postseason, where you get a chance to not only people in the Miami market, but people nationally get a chance to see some of these guys play. But that's how you become a star, is having personal success, but even more so having team success.
And Bruce, question for you. Obviously, when you bought this team 4 years ago, there are a lot of unknowns. I guess I'm wondering, given the pandemic, if there's still this big unknown of whether or not, in your mind, Miami is truly a baseball town. Has the pandemic prevented you from really getting to that answer?
I think the pandemic impacted last year. Obviously, it's going to impact this year. None of us know what the new normal is going to be. But all industries have suffered from this problem. We believe in everything we've done, from the changes we've made into the stadium, to ingress and egress, to what we've done with the farm system, which several of you pointed out, to the success we had last year. And if you sit back, if you look at the growth of just the population, I don't know if many of you have probably noticed what's happened with the flood of people moving to Florida. We'd like to capture our share of them as baseball fans. And whether it's young people, whatever source, whatever way they will consume media, we would like them to be involved. So our plan is intact, and it's just going to take time. And the pandemic did cost us a lot of fan involvement, as Derek pointed out earlier, and I think I said earlier.
Steve Wine, AP.
Derek, I'd like to piggyback on Jim's question there. You've spent over 3 years now listening to feedback from this market. You've heard people say, I go to every game. You've heard people who've talked about the baggage of past ownership say, I'm never going to go to another game. What is your sense of the chances of building a long-term fan base here that will allow you to be successful if and when you start winning on a regular basis?
Well, I think it starts with, we wouldn't have put together an ownership group and purchased the organization if we didn't feel as though Miami was a baseball town. If we didn't feel as though the fans ultimately would come out and support the team. Now, we also understand that takes a little bit of time. And, to Bruce's point, and what I said earlier too, it's unfortunate that we didn't have an opportunity to let the fans in last season, so we can just see firsthand how much excitement was in the community here. But just from my own personal experience with being out and about in a limited capacity, and let me say that once again, in a limited capacity, you can hear some of the excitement. But look, it takes time. It does take time. I wish we would average 37,000 fans this year, right? But we understand that it's going to take some time. And I think you talk about sustainable success on the field, off the field, we have to prove it. And I think we've made some great strides forward, but we have a long way to go, and we'll continue to try to earn the trust of the fan base. And that's really the only way that we're going to be able to find out if we just continue to, keep all of our promises.
Let's go to Josh Moser, WSVN.
Hi guys, just kind of along those same lines of we talk about progress. How would you define success for you this upcoming season? Bruce, maybe from more of a business side, and Derek, obviously more from the baseball side.
On both sides, continue to make progress. I think we're about to make progress in our media. We're going to make progress in fans, especially coming up last year. And the baseball, we continue to make progress. Neither Derek or I know what it would have been like to have some of those Cub playoff games in Miami. That might have been a lot of fun. We didn't experience it, and our fans not to experience it. It's kind of strange watching that game with just Derek and I in a box, 200 feet from the field. I mean, it was different. Even Atlanta didn't have the outcome we wanted, but it was strange. So I think we're going to continue to make progress, and everyone in the investor group understands that. Derek?
How do you define that progress? Is there a certain benchmark that you have a goal in mind? What are your points that you're hoping to hit coming up here specifically for 2021?
Is that a baseball or a financial question?
I think it could be either. Maybe both, actually, if that's all right.
Well, just on the baseball side, we've talked about making progress, and on the business side, making continual progress with fans, with sponsorships, with every element. We've improved. I don't know. It seems a long time ago we improved the fan experience. It's a truly extraordinary fan experience when you come to Marlins Park. I think I've been to many parks. I think it's a superior experience than you get in a lot of other arenas, stadiums, et cetera. And we just have to engage people to give it a shot. We've done everything with traffic issues. You see all the activity around the neighborhood and the construction, et cetera. So we're excited about Marlins Park. It is where it is. It's going to continue to gather more fans, and we'll continue to have success both on and off the field.
Yeah, the only thing I'll add, Josh, I'm not one to make any guarantees, but I will guarantee you this: our attendance will be higher in 21 than it was in 2020. So sure. I think that helps us define success a little bit. Look, we want to continue to grow, right? I think we want to grow on the business side. We want to grow on the baseball side, and I've said this to a lot of you who have been on the call or have heard me speak before, that I get it. When you're judging a baseball organization, it's basically judged on wins and losses at the major league level, right? I get it. That's fair. I get it from a baseball side. That's fair. But we want to continue to grow this organization from the minor leagues on up. And how would I define success for us this year from a baseball standpoint? Is our guys need to play. They need to compete. You play baseball every single day for a reason. And we had a large majority of our organization miss an entire season, which is you don't get that year back. You run out of years at some point. So success for us from a baseball standpoint is to make sure that our guys get a full season in and get their experience. And those are good streaks, bad streaks. All of it is experience. So I'd say for us, it's just getting back to the normal of playing games every day.
Thank you.
Okay, we have just a few more hands raised, so we'll try to cut through everybody here. Will Manso?
Hey, Derek. This is the kind of a weird year to ask it. The yearly payroll question that every ownership group, every front office in baseball gets in spring training. given the fact that we've referenced pandemic 20 times already, obviously what's happened business-wise, but how much has what happened with the pandemic and is happening, and also the fact you're just finalizing this TV deal, affect any kind of plans to add payroll, whether it's this year at some point, next year, the following years, as your plan comes together?
Yeah, I would say from a payroll standpoint, that wasn't a part of our conversations this year. We didn't say, hey, look, we're going through a pandemic, let's cut back on payroll. That was never a conversation. The conversations that we had even prior to going through a pandemic is you look 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, and the point of building a great minor league system is to give those guys a chance. That's why you build it. And I said it to you guys, I think in spring training before we started last year, we have to give these guys an opportunity. That's why you go through the exercise of building an organization. So payroll had nothing to do with anything that we were doing this year. You know, moving forward, hopefully we can get a full minor league season in, we can get a full major league season in, and then you sit down and you say, okay, look, this is the group that we're rolling with. And these are the positions that we have filled internally, and then we'll figure out where we can add externally if needed.
Okay, we'll stick in the PLG family there. David? Grab the mute there, David.
Hey, Derek, how are you? I wanted to talk about fan experience. It seems like when you first came in, you were very focused on listening, kind of forming a vision of what you wanted the fan experience to be. You start to implement that vision, and then boom, the pandemic hits. So how does sort of adjusting to bringing fans back to the ballpark affect that long-term vision that you've started to create and implement for what it's like for a fan to go to a Marlins game?
Yeah, it's a good question. You hit the nail on the head. I mean, it's right. We spent a lot of time listening to our fans, what they wanted when they came into the park, what type of experience, you know, whether it was the type of food they ate, the music that they hear, social spaces around the ballpark, a better club section. We addressed those issues, and we're happy with opening the new beer hall and the left field social. And then all of a sudden, like you said, bam, it hit us. So it set us back, but it doesn't take away from the fact that this is what our fan base wanted, and we're trying to address everything that they want. And then without losing sight of the fact that they want a competitive team on the field that has a chance to win. That's, like I said before, it's a baseball organization, and you have to have that opportunity to win. So yeah, it did set us back. Look, I'm not going to lie to you. It set us back last year. And, but we hope, you know, getting back to a regular season where even if it's a limited capacity at the beginning, we can continue to hear from our fans and continue to learn, because it's not like you have one thing that you have to fix and it's over and done with. I mean, it's a moving target, and fans want different things as time goes on. So we'll try to address as many of those as we can.
Okay, 3 more. Barry Jackson.
Hi, gentlemen. One for Bruce and one for Derek. For Bruce, as you know, this ownership group, as well as the previous one, was handicapped by having the worst television deal in baseball. Do you expect the new deal that hopefully will be finalized in the next month or so, do you expect that deal will more than double the rights fee that you had been receiving? And would much of that money be allocated toward player payroll moving forward?
Well, clearly, we wouldn't be satisfied at your level, and we will no longer have the worst deal in Major League Baseball, as you correctly assumed. And we're excited to be competitive with the other teams. And we are in a very good market in terms of population. So I think that says a lot, as well.
Excellent, thank you. And then for Derek, I think any reasonable person would say it's commendable, it's admirable that you all have added 3 veteran outfielders, a quality outfield, obviously, over the last year with Dickerson, Marte, and now Duval. I wondered if you ever thought about this. Should we, instead of trying to win with 3 quality big league established outfielders, should we go into 21 just allocating 1 or 2 of those outfield spots to our young outfielders, whether it's Harrison, whether it's Sanchez, whether it's Brinson, Sierra, et cetera, obviously others on the way, just to give them at bats, whether they earn it or not in spring, so we have an opinion about whether they could eventually be something for us? Or did you feel all of those players likely need minor league at bats in 2021, at least to begin the year?
Well, let me start off with one thing. Look, just because you have a veteran outfielder, or there's no jobs given before spring training starts. We try to get the best players on the field, the best players a part of our 26-man roster, but it's built on competition, right? I mean, that's the environment that I came up with and that's the environment that we built here. The best players are going to play. So guys, if our guys go out and they perform, they're going to get an opportunity. So there's a lot of at-bats that are available for players throughout the course of the season. Then also, you can never make the assumption that everyone's going to stay healthy for 162 games. Especially when we're still in the middle of a pandemic, no matter how you look at it. So give me too many players. I'd rather work with that than sitting here trying to say, I wish I had more.
Makes sense. Thanks.
Yep.
Okay, Craig Minervini, and then we'll wrap up with Christina. Go ahead, Craig.
Thank you, Jason. Derek, forgive me if you referred to this before when you were talking about the fans or how many you may have, but would you consider opening the roof more early in the season with regard to the pandemic situation? And again, if you could just reiterate are you hoping for a limited capacity right off the bat, or are you not sure yet? Thank you.
Yep, I did mention earlier we are going to have a limited capacity right off the bat when the season starts. That is the plan moving forward. Obviously, we know it's a fluid situation and plans may change, but that is the plan. In terms of the roof being open, how good are the weathermen down here? Right. I mean, one of the things that we also have the good fortune of is opening the wall, right? So it gives you the airflow, the circulation that's needed inside the ballpark too. So we do have that available to us as well. So it all depends on what the weather situation is, but all those things be taken under consideration, and we have those conversations from a league level.
Okay, Christina, take us home.
All right, so I guess we'll take us home. The theme, this latter part, was about fans. Around this time, I guess each year in a normal year, Fan Fest would happen, or winter warm-up, whatever it's called. Is there any thought as to, I guess, how leading up to the season you might incorporate an event like that to hype up, 2021?
Yeah, we've given it some thought. I don't want to give you too much information right now because we're still brainstorming on the most, I don't even want to say effective way we can do it, but the safest way that we can do it. But yeah, I know Fan Fest, look, we've been able to grow Fan Fest for the first 3 years that we've been here. And we're looking forward to even having more people here in 21, but unfortunately we can't do it that way. But we are, thinking about different ways that we can get some fans into the ballpark, spread out, obviously, so that when we get to opening day, it's not the first time that we're introducing and welcoming fans into the park. So more to come on that.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Derek.
Thank you all.
Thank you all for your support.
Stay safe.
All right, gang. Talk to you guys later. Thank you.